Hi guys, Sunday blessings to you. Hope that you are all safe and that you're all well and that you've had a fabulous week. It's nice now that the energy of the weather is starting to get a little bit cooler. We had a pretty cool storm the other day. It didn't last for that long, but we did have quite a lot of fork lightning where we were in sort of Trowbridge, which is just really nice. But yeah, it feels a bit more pleasant. It doesn't feel like, I know it's meant to go back into a heat wave, and I shouldn't complain, but you know, is what it is, isn't it? So I'm coming on to do the Tarot and Oracle Sunday review video. I'm going to review for you today. It's an old deck, but I still really like it. Now this is one that always tends to divide opinion because of whom it's by, but I really think it's quite cool. I really like it, so I wanted to show it to you anyway. And then it's, sorry, I thought I just saw something then. It's really weird. I just thought I saw like a really big purple orb there, but it's not. It's just the way the light's reflecting. Sorry, it's like close up of my mush. Probably not what you want to see, but like, yeah, that was really weird. Then it's like it wasn't like the reflection of my light, so it was like a purple sort of, like, it was almost like a sort of spotlight of an orb or something there. It was really weird. I've seen a lot of weird stuff in my cellar lately, actually. Yeah, so there's some strange stuff going on down here energetically at the moment. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. So the deck that I'm showing you is the Angels Tarot, Angel Tarot cards by Doreen Virtue. Don't hate me, guys. And is also by Radleigh Valentine, and the artwork is by Steve A. Roberts. Now, the reason that some people get a little bit upset with Doreen Virtue is because obviously she decided to become a devoted sort of Christian, and you know, she now has found God, which is fabulous for her. But a lot of people, or it's like the behaviour of what she's done, you know, she sort of revoked a lot of her decks. You can still get this one though, and yeah, she's sort of almost gone back on some of the stuff. Some people found as well, and I did notice this with some of the decks I had of hers, that they almost felt like they had become like deactivated. This one though, it was always one of my first Angel Tarot decks that I had, and I actually never really work with it, but I do really like it. I always wanted it, and so it is really nice for what it is. So I did kind of want to show it to you if I could, you know. It's one by Hay House, so we've got the older sort of version of the Hay House logo there. I don't know if it says what year this was presented or what this was done. No, it's not showing me, but the box is a bit knackered looking on the back, so it's definitely an older deck. But yeah, but I really like it, so I wanted to sort of show it for you guys today anyway. So as we open up, so what we've got on here, we've got the back of the cards. So we've got Doreen Virtue, Radleigh Valentine, and then Steve A. Roberts. We've got all of their imageries and pictures on the back, as you can see. And this was done, I'm seeing if it gives me a date when this was sort of published. It probably does say somewhere in here. Let's see if it's got a date at all. Maybe it's at the front, maybe it's not going to show me. It's cool if it doesn't, but I just thought it would be nice if I could sort of show you. 2012, so this has been out for a little bit of a while, but we'll have a look at that book in a bit more detail later on. These are lovely, lovely cards though, great stock quality, nice and thick, because they're an older version of Hay House, they're the thicker as well, so that's really nice. These ones as well, what I love with these is they're gilded. We've not seen any gilded cards. Silver gilding, but I think that's absolutely lovely. I love any cards that are gilded. They're always better, I think, when they're gilded. So the artwork on the back, beautiful, 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 as you can sort of see here. It's really, really lovely. Almost looks a little bit like kind of, I know it's angelic, but I almost see this as a bit like Atlantisan as well. It's got that sort of energy to it with all the blue everywhere. So they have done some changes with this deck as well, so we'll have to sort of talk you through the changes that have happened. Some of the cards have got different names and different sort of bits and pieces, so it's all been a little bit tweaked and twerked, but because it's Angel, they've sort of spun the cards that way. So for instance, like this one, we've got like Unity, and it just says Archangel Sandalphon. So you've got, this is a replacement from something from the Major Arcana, and because it's obviously card 5, it's probably the replacement for like the Hierophant as a rule, I would think. I'd have to check that, but that's probably what I thought this is a replacement for. And then each piece has a little bit of something along the bottom. So this one says traditional viewpoints or methods. spiritual organisations, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. So it gives you a little bit of something to work with as well. They're all numbered as well at the top. Then we're going into, and the colours obviously are broken down into all different suits. So then we're going into one of the suits, so 4 of air, so that is the equivalent of like the 4 of swords. So they're using elements instead of like the swords, pages and pentacles. So it's one of those sort of decks, but I just think it's nice, so I wanted to show it to you anyway, so that you can sort of see how you feel, how you find it to be. So I'm not going to show you all of these, but I want to show you enough of them so that you can get an idea and an understanding. So again, you can see what I mean about all of this sort of water. I know this is from the suit of water, so this is like the cups basically is the equivalent of, but they've really got that Atlantic theme going, some of these, you know. But it's a beautiful deck. I think it's really, really beautiful. So it's nice to sort of work with. So this one, for instance, Release, this is the same as the Temperance, Archangel Azrael, and then it just says it's peace on the bottom. So you can see the similarity with some of the images. So it's quite clever actually how it's been done. Probably not a great deck if you are starting off in tarot, because if you haven't learned the traditional values of tarot, you might be just a little bit with this like, what the bloody hell's going on? It might confuse you slightly. So it's probably not a straightforward deck if this is your first introduction to tarot. But if you're a bit more advanced, if you know what you're doing, then you could divulge into something like this. Because when you get sort of a deck that's been sort of changed and tweaked so much, you do almost have to completely start from scratch again, really, because it's all been sort of pulled apart and sort of put together. And yeah, it's just, there's a bit of learning with it sometimes, I don't always like it when they sort of mess around. I prefer the traditional values of what they do. I like it when they sometimes keep things simple, because then the format to tarot becomes a bit more easier to read. So I don't always like to see the changes, but some people do quite a lot of that, which is what it is. But the images in these, lots of fantasy artwork, as you can see, really powerful, really beautiful, loads of detail on these cards, which is nice, really sort of highlighting lots of dragon energy, lots of wings in different ways here, feathered and scale and all sorts, So it's quite cool. I think it's a nice deck. It's not my favourite deck, but it is one that I think is worth having in the collection. But like I say, some people are very offended by Doreen Virtue, and some people don't have any dealings with her. So some of you might be sort of watching this video and thinking, no, I'm not going to even go any further with this because of whom it's by. And I just think what we have to do with these decks is try to sort of look at them from when they were created, and at that moment in time it was being done from a place of truth, and how she found the energy of things to be. So I think if you can look at things that way, it's not so bad. But like I said, I do know that there are people, and I've had it with some of her decks as well, where they do feel like they've become sort of deactivated. But this one feels like it still holds magic, so that's why I wanted to show it to you, really. I'm not going to show you too many more because you kind of probably getting the idea with these cards, but I just wanted to show you enough so that you can sort of see, in case you decide to purchase this yourself. I think you can still get this from Hay House. I know you can definitely still get it on like Amazon and eBay, because I see it advertised quite a lot. So it is still out there, it is still available if you did want to sort of purchase this for yourself, because obviously anything that is Doreen Virtue that isn't in print anymore, these decks will be worth extra money in time to come, because obviously they'll become collector stuff because the very fact that you can't get it anymore, so there's that to think about as well. I'm going to show you like one more card, and I think that's going to be a nice place to end. I'm going to show you one more after this because I quite like the this other one. Just made me laugh the way that it looks. That's quite cool with the sort of face in the tree. And there's one other one that I've just seen with all these unicorns everywhere. That's the problem. I say that's going to be one more, then it ends. This is definitely going to be the last one. Okay. Perfect. So what we'll do, let me just gather these up as ever. because these are quite thick as well, they're quite big, as you can see. It's a decent sort of size. It's more of an oracle size as opposed to a tarot size. This is what I would consider like an oracle size deck, so they are big, really sort of chunky because there's 78 of them. So in your hand they feel, you can feel that they're there sort of thing. There's something to work with, you know. So they glide quite nicely, glide quite well, which is nice. So I'm asking the cards to show us something for this Sunday, which will be a message also for the week ahead for the highest of good. So let's just see what we need to know about. Oops, bear with me. Asking these old cards, what do they want to talk about? What do they want to show us that is coming out? Okay, interesting. Ooh, okay, so we've got the Ace of Fire. So this I feel is the equivalent, I will check, but I think it's the Ace of Wands, because fire as a rule in tarot represents the wand energy, and if they're going off the elemental stages, that's probably what this is. But it just says here at the bottom, an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, change your life now. That all sounds pretty fabulous to me. You know, we've got this like gentleman, it almost looks a little bit like Gaston from sort of Beauty and the Beast, a little bit there, sort of just, you know, standing, strutting his stuff with his arms sort of, you know, folded. So let's have a look and see if we can find this in the book. Well, I'll show you the book actually, first of all. So there's a little bit of an introduction. It talks about how you can work with your deck. Then it's got examples of spreads like they tend to have. And then it's pretty much literally like straight into the cards actually. There isn't much else there. So let me find the fires. Bear with me. They're probably going to be like either right in the middle or at the back. Okay, Queen of Fire. So let me find the Ace of Fire. Okay, Ace of Fire. So there's not too much to work with here. What you've got is like a little bit of spiel per piece. So that's nice. And it just does say here, it's got a little bit of stuff about the suit of fire. So it just sort of says, the suit of fire represents our ideas and inspirations. It's where we feel passion, display amazing creativity, and set our dreams into motion. So it is definitely the same as the wands. This element corresponds to our career, art, adventure, risk-taking and self-development. Fire can also represent any of our passions. We've chosen friendly dragons as a symbol for this suit because of the fiery nature and their iconic place in our imaginations. I can't actually see a dragon in this card. There isn't one. We've got a hot guy instead in this card, so that's interesting. But I suppose these are heavily ruled with dragon energy. So Ace of Fire, it just says here then, an exciting new opportunity shows up in your life. Creative and inspiring career possibilities are coming into view. Now is the time to completely embrace new adventures that present themselves. Go for it. Innovate ideas should be... Oh God, there's some big words. Sorry, it's really challenging my dyslexia today. Innovate ideas should be enthusiastically pursued. This is as good a time as any to take risks in order to follow your dreams. If you want to change your life, do it now. So that's nice, to the point. Then it's got an additional meaning for this card. Starting a new business, job offers or promotions, exciting new formations, self-expression, a fresh start. So basically, out with the old, ready to embrace and prosper with the new. That's a really cool time as well, because we're just literally coming out of the full moon energy, which is a great time to release any traumas, anything negative, so that we can start to have great stuff. I think this is a lovely message off the back of the full moon that we've just had. So that's nice. Nothing too overwhelming or too scary in those. Quite basic, quite easy to understand message there. So get out there, guys. Enjoy it, shine, and if those opportunities present themselves, or when they present themselves, go after them. Absolutely. So overall, I would say that this deck is probably... I love the artwork. The artwork for me is a 10. I think it's really beautiful. I think the deck itself probably is a 7 or an 8. It's not my favourite deck, but it is a nice one to have in the collection. So if you are a lover of sort of tarot and want an older style, because this has been out since 2012, so it is quite an old deck. But yeah, go and check it out. It's the Angel Tarot cards. by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine, like I say, with artwork by Steve A. Roberts. Beautiful deck. I do think it's one worth having in the collection. See how it resonates, see how it feels with you, and yeah, just enjoy it if you like it. So I'm going to leave that with you. Have a fantastic Sunday and have a fabulous week ahead. Stay safe and well. Catch up with some of you lovelies very soon, and take care. Bye for now.